Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, it's been a little while since we put a video out. I was on a cruise to Alaska on the inland waterway. Very interesting, and I took some videos, so maybe I'll incorporate them, maybe not in this video, but in another video. But the last time we got together, let's see, we talked about how your thoughts define what you see. And I expanded that. Your thoughts define what you interpret from all your senses, your five senses. And why? Because in the illusion, you believe you are seeing with your eyes and hearing with your ears, smelling with your nose, tasting with your tongue, and touching with your hands and other parts of your body as they bump against stuff. You don't. You take that information in and you interpret it in unique ways based upon your belief system, what you know to be true for you. And out of your belief system comes your thinking. Your thinking is defined by what you believe. And to think outside of your belief system, very difficult. So your belief system is based upon your past experiences in your life. And those are memories now. So your thoughts really come out of your experiences, which are memories. So what you see, hear, taste, feel, smell, and touch are interpretations based upon your memories. We don't think so. We say, well, no, I look out there and I see things. I hear things. I taste food. I smell sometimes pleasant aromas and sometimes not so pleasant aromas. Those are all interpretations that you put on the data based upon your memories. Hard lesson. But that's the way it is. So, that was the last time. Gee, I didn't think I'd talk so much on that. This time, we're going to be talking about, did you know? Did you know that all patterns that you see, and they can also be through any of your senses, music is patterns. Other things are patterns of touch, of sound, of taste. These all develop patterns that have causes. The important thing to remember that when you see a pattern, you are seeing an effect of a cause. And we think, well, no, the pattern is the cause. The pattern is what I experience. But the pattern has an underlying, sometimes very difficult to see, to hear, to touch, to feel, to smell. So you just think it's a pattern. Kind of crazy. Now, after saying all that, this video is going to be about memories and where they're stored. So in the description, which is quite long, has a lot of information in it and some references that you can look at. But all the patterns that develop around where you think memories are just effects. So when you see a memory as a pattern in your brain, you think, well, the memory is there. There is its pattern. There's two basic theories of where memories are stored, and they are related to patterns. Because they say, well, that's a pattern, and that proves that the memory is there. Doesn't prove the memory's there. It proves there's an effect there that's caused by something else. What's that something else? Your memory. But the memory is not the pattern. Very difficult to try to grasp, because you see, like leaves on a tree. Fall is coming on, and here in Michigan, being September, and so fall is coming on, and the leaves are going to have fantastic patterns of color. The leaves don't cause the color. The leaves don't cause the pattern. There is underlying natural systems that cause that to happen. And we look at the patterns and we say, well, there's the cause. And we know that it's not. So now we're going to look at brain scans, MRI brain scans. And we're going to talk a little bit about them. If you are going through an MRI process, particularly around memories, and the investigator, as you're in the MRI, magnetic imaging machine, will say, okay, now think of a memory of something, and you think of a memory. Say you think a long-term memory, a long time ago. Your first teacher in kindergarten, or a friend in kindergarten. For me, that was a long time ago. But I can still remember some of that stuff. And if I'm in an MRI machine, we will see movements of patterns within the neuron network. And they say, oh, see, that proves that the memory is there. No, it doesn't. It proves a memory is causing a pattern to be there. The pattern is an effect and not a cause. Well, yeah, but when you think of that memory, see those patterns? There they are. They're just like going down the neural network, like a little path there that the memory is following. The memory's not following a path. The memory stimulates the neuron system to develop patterns. So where's the memory? Well, it's in the pattern. No. No, it's not. Now, here's the thing. If you stop thinking the thought, those patterns go away. Oh, see, you stopped thinking the thought, so the screw said, now the thought isn't there. That's true, but you may think, where is it? Where is the memory that caused the pattern? No one knows. No one knows where memories are stored. Scientific truism. Nobody knows where your memories are stored. Well, if you believe that the memories are in the brain, someplace in the brain, and there's two basic theories that we'll talk about in a second. Did you think you'd get this deep into understanding your beliefs that are caused by your memories? Memories are exciting. I get excited talking about them because all you are is your memories. All you are is your memories. And we'll come back to that in a moment, but I want to go on thinking about those two theories. It's not the only two, but they're the two dominant ones. And they come up every once in a while, and one of them is called memory consolidation. And it is when an event happens, an event can only happen in the present moment. An event cannot happen in the past or in the future. It must happen in the present moment. So the present moment is a hotspot where events happen. And we talked a little bit about that in other videos. I'll see if I can reference them. So in the now moment, events happen. And then, as you step off of that hotspot of the present moment, it's gone. The event's over. What do you have left? A memory of what happened. Not what happened. An interpretation that we call a memory of what happened. That's very mysterious, because in the illusion, in the egoic world, we believe the memory is a representation, a direct representation of the event. It's not. Every one of your memories that you have is an interpretation based on you and your life experiences. So when you get older, maybe as old as me, an event happens, you will interpret it differently than when you were a teenager, or 30 years old, or 60 years old. Why? You have more reference material. You have more memories to move or think or condition the event through or filter it through. So whatever age you are now, when an event happens, you are going to interpret it differently than you would at a younger age. So you have many, 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 many memories. When you get old, you got trillions. When you get to be a teenager, you got billions. So there's a little difference there in how your life is experienced through your memories. So where are they kept when you're not thinking about them? Well, in memory consolidation, the memory comes into being in the limbic system of the brain, and the hippocampus kind of works with it, and other parts in that area work with it, and it is fragmented and migrates, and the term usually used is migrates, to that part of the brain that is responsible for that type of information. Your visual goes to the visual cortex and migrates, moves to the visual cortex, and that's where it's stored. And the same with your hearing and your smelling and touch and all of that. They move around and they find places on the inside. And then when they are triggered, they come back out. And then you get a whole memory again. How do you know where they're at? How do you know when those little segments are all at? Well, you have what's called a memory trace, or a record maintained by the hippocampus or some other part of that system that keeps track, like a little computer operator. He says, oh, I'll find that, and he finds it and he brings it back up. Kind of difficult, because you can take the same thought, think about it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times in a minute. And if it's got to go back in and come out and back in and come out, it doesn't seem to be a very efficient way for memories to be stored. Now that's very, very simple. And somebody might say, well, that doesn't explain the whole thing. You don't understand what memory consolidation is. That's true. I don't know the ins and outs. All I know is it goes in, gets divided, and then it's called back through some process, recall process, and then when you restore it, it goes through the same process. Now, the other technique, the other theory, is that the whole memory is between the little synopsis between the neurons. So, between each little neuron, and there are trillions of neurons, lots of neurons, that little gap, if you know what you may not know what a synopsis is in the brain. It's where, when you have a little neuron, each neuron has an axon and it has dendrites, and from one to the other, neuron cells do not touch. They don't touch. That side of the brain. They touch, electric. Something like what a stroke happens. Boom! So they don't touch. The neuron and axon come very close, very close, very close. But don't touch. And between that gap, and there are all kinds on each neuron, there could be many sites for axons to come close to. And then in that little gap, the axon transmits information to the other neurons through the dendrite, and it picks it up, and then the neuron fires. That's where the patterns come from. When you're thinking a particular thinking about a particular memory, and you get those patterns that are seen on the MRI. Those are electrical stimulated neurons that are passing information all around, like that. That's what they do. And then when you stop thinking the thought, they go down. No pattern. Where's the memory? Well, it's consolidated. It's fragmented into all these parts, and there's a it's called a forgot what it's called right now. It's called a memory trace, and there's a record of where all those little parts are for all those trillions of memories that you have, and then it brings them all back together. And then you have a memory, and from that memory, through your belief system, you have thoughts. And your thoughts create images of that particular memory. That's strange, isn't it? Now, the other one, like I was talking about, is in the synapses. So the memory is stored in the synapses. And I just read an article, a lot of information. I'm going to have a little tea because I'm talking too much. Okay, now, as long as that axon and that dendrite are in connection. Oh, and you might have heard what fires together wires together. So what fires across there, in between there, in a little gap, is the memory. What form is the memory in? Is it? I have a hard time with that. So I look at memories as complete little energy packets, like little chips, like memory chips that you can put in your computer and then it opens up the memory. So it's a little chip. It's a little electromagnetic chip between there. That's how I visualize it. And when you want it, I don't know how you tell that little chip in the synapses that it's wanted for some function. But that's what the theory is. Somehow, again, there's some mechanism for specifically recalling that little chip between the axon and the dendrite that goes someplace, and then you have access to that memory. But I don't know the whole thing. All I know is memories are stored someplace, and when triggered, they come into the present moment and you experience them. Everything is experienced in the present moment. So you bring the memory, wherever it is, into the present moment and experience it again. Well, if you have good memories, that's wonderful. You get to re-experience good memories. And if they're not good memories, you're going to be sad and depressed and anxious and upset and all kinds of stuff like that. And that brings us an interruption here to, by the way, when we're through with this, I'm going to show you a pattern that I showed you before, and I reference that in the description of a wake of a ship. And I asked some questions, which I'm going to do in the video, but you can look at them again in the description. But right now I want to talk about the wisdom of A Course in Miracles around memories. Now again, if you got good memories, great. If you got bad memories, why would you want to re-experience them? And so here's what the Course says. Why would you cling to it, the memory, if you didn't desire its effect? See, so when you are recalling negative memories, it's because you're enjoying at some level the effect that the body goes through, because the body responds to the memory that you are recalling as if it is happening now. And so when you recall a negative memory of any kind, the body is signaled to respond through your fight or flight response, through your sympathetic nervous system, to prepare you for that sense of dread or anxious or depression. And so the Course is saying, why would you cling to something like that? Unless at some level you desire that effect. It makes you feel justified in anger, justified in a hate, justified in doing things that you would not really want to do. So it's all about memories. And since the memory is in the past, the memory is not real. Oh my goodness, memories have to be real. Nah, they're not real. They are creations, your creations. Your memories are your creations. And if you don't like them, since it's your memory, you can change them. I said that before, and I got into a lot of trouble because some people would say, well, yes, I want to change my memories because I don't like them. How do I do that? There are certain techniques. And of course, the doctors and scientists are looking at a way to erase those memories. so you don't have to recall them. It's not working too good yet. But the thing is, it's not erasing them. You see, to erase them, you have to know where they're at. We have no idea where they're at. So they're just shooting in the dark. Well, I'll try this, and it's going to erase that. You know, I remember when I had a yeast infection. And I went to the doctor and I said, I think I got a yeast infection. She said, yes, you do. We checked it all out. You do. Take this pill. It'll kill all the yeast in the body. I said, well, I got good yeast. Well, that's too bad. It's going to kill it all, and then we have to rebuild the other one, the good yeast. I said, well, I don't want to do that. How do I get rid of the bad yeast? Well, I read about it. It says sugar is a big part of that. So if you cut down on your sugar, you cut down on the food for the bad yeast, and it will get to a level that your immune system can handle it. So that's what I did. It worked fine. But it's the same way with taking memories out. See, all memories are interconnected. They all are related. So when you work with one memory, you affect all your memories. That's why when you heal one memory, when you forgive yourself and others, you affect all your memories. They all get better. So what are patterns? The patterns that you see in the brain with an MRI are not memories. They are the effects of memories. They do not tell you that memories are in the brain. But if you believe through Newtonian physics that memories must be in the brain, you will develop theories that will emphasize and prove memories are in the brain. Well, it's crazy. So now that's what is happening. We have an alternative to Newtonian physics, and it's called quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, there are other mechanisms that lead us in a direction to indicate where memories are stored and not in the brain. And a concept of it we use all the time. Well, I say use all the time. If you have a computer and you're working on a file, you have this file, which is like a memory, because memories are a file. You push a button, it goes to the cloud. You don't have to carry your file in the physical computer. You develop a link between the computer, central processor, and the cloud. And when you are triggered or need that information, you push a button, up to the cloud, here's your memory, here's your file. So we have kind of a working model that memories do not need to be in the physical brain. We haven't found them yet. And again, we have trillions and trillions of memories. Not just what you're consciously aware of. Your conscious awareness is so slow and handles so little won't handle trillions of memories. We have an idea what might handle trillions of memories. First of all, the idea of the cloud or something outside of us. And we call that space subconscious mind. The conscious mind, very small, little bit. Subconscious mind, that's where all your memories are. Now we don't know where that is. Maybe it's the cloud. How interesting would that be? So now, I'm going to show you. I'm going to break into this now, and I'll put again that example of a pattern, and I'll ask some questions in relationship to the pattern. See if the pattern answers the questions. Now you know I'm leading you along. The pattern cannot answer the questions because the pattern is an effect and not the cause. I'd say that again. The pattern is an effect and not the cause. So if you want to change the pattern, you have to change the cause. Memories are very mysterious. I wrote a whole book on it. It's called The Secret Life of Memories. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they're stored. But they run our life. And we can change our life by healing our negative, unreal memories. And how exciting will that be? We'll see you in a moment. Be right back. Well, here we have our pattern, the wake of the ship. Now, from the pattern, can you tell what kind of ship it is? How big is it? What's its tonnage? From the pattern, what is it carrying? What information does it have that it's trying to convey to you? How fast is it moving? What's the speed of the information through the neuron system? Is it a warship, a commercial carrier, or a private yacht? How important is the information? Can the wake of the ship or the pattern answer these questions? Patterns are effects. They tell little about the process. Well, the patterns of the wake in the water are made on a cruise to down through the Panama Canal. On our way down from California down to the Panama Canal, I made those off the fantail of the cruise ship. The patterns in and of themselves are effects and not causes. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening on the ship that causes the ship to move the way it does. Sometimes the captain slows down so we can get to the port on time, and sometimes he speeds up so we can get to port on time. And sometimes we are becalmed and we drop anchor and we use little boats to go back and forth. So the pattern isn't always there, but the ship and everything on it is there. You can't look at the pattern and tell where the port, the garage, the street is, where the memory is stored. And that's the point. I so want you to begin to understand. This illusion, this egoic world is so captivating, so magnificent that we lose track and believe it's real. Be good to yourself. Think about this and recognize you can change your life. Oh, we have much to talk about here in the illusion. Bye now.